Now this is what I call a circle of death. Please don't go, I'm sorry. Hello, my fellow adventurers! Welcome, one and all, as today we go full necromancy, delve into the dark side of the weave, and unmake all who stand before us, using an invincible army of ghouls alongside a unique spell that you can only get from a legendary book, and a little dash of being completely invincible, unkillable, while you sacrifice your own health to blast everyone around you for massive damage, cleaving through entire fights, while you just effortlessly heal up afterwards, and no one can do anything about it. I wanted to do something a little bit different here with my take on a necromancy vibe, because yes, the classic 6 necro wizard alongside 6-spot druid is a classic for a reason, but I've taken it a little bit of a twistiness, and we have gone into a bit of Cleric, even a little bit of Sorcerer, and the goal here is to be an ultimate necromancy tank, where, yes, we have an army, but we don't need them. We are more than capable of just wading into any amount of enemies and utterly obliterating them all with our massive wizard-cleric bag of tricks, while they just flail ineffectively, trying to do any sort of semblance of damage. This really is glorious, and on top of everything, thanks to the recent patch, your undead will no longer scare everyone as you walk around town, so you can actually play a proper summony build without it being really irritating whenever you're anywhere with peaceful random NPCs. This is just super fun, and the real icing, the real cherry on top, is a special staff that you might not even know exists that lets you cast any necromancy spell without using the spell slot, meaning that we can self-haste and blast off 2 level 6 spells every single turn. Yeah, is that not exciting to hear? This really is fun, it's thematic, it is powerful, and you get to really live the fantasy of doing what Balthazar was trying to do, but a whole lot better. Not just letting your minions do the talking, but they're just there to back you up as the actual real power going on. So if you like the sound of this flavor, I hear flavors, that would be so weird. Then I bid you welcome to this journey we're about to go on to set up this playstyle. Starting with, as always, a trip to the old withers. We'll be starting as a sorcerer for that con proficiency. It is just so valuable and lets us get a little bit of extra maneuverability thanks to tempestuous magic flight, which is nice to have here for good old repositioning that doesn't do opportunity attacks and doesn't burn spell slots. So for actual cantrips, just grab useful things. I'll point out if any spells are mandatory, but definitely on your sorcerer, don't take anything that actually has a role that would use charisma, because we're not going to be having any. So shield and leap is nice to have. Take your storm sorcery, and then this is what you're looking at. You want the 16 in intelligence and wisdom, as we will be dipping into cleric, and then the rest in dexterity for the AC and that goodness. Then the rest is where you see fit. If you don't have the Constitution amulet like I will be using, then you want this to be the 14 with dexterity a little bit lower, but onwards we go. That's the only sorcerer level we actually want. After this, we will dip into a single level of cleric, and this is how I would recommend you doing it if you are going from low level or early game. If not, it doesn't matter, just kind of go along with me. So the cleric that we want is life domain, so that's all well and good, and cantrip wise, again, just choose things that are useful. definitely at least guidance. We will grab Mistra as we're mainly wizarding it up, and then we get some really key spells here. Namely, the ability to heal ourselves with our bonus action, which is really nice in this tanky, unkillable vibe we're playing for. Then we also get Inflict Wounds, which being a necromancy spell means we can cast it at level 6 without using a spell slot, and this can target constructs like the Steel Watchers, whereas Blight can't, so it gives us another little bit of utility to actually kill things, even though it's all still necrotic damage. Then we want to grab Sanctuary, as it's just massively helpful, and then lastly, you can choose what you like the look of. For me, I go for Command. This will get us our heavy armor proficiency, which is very, very nice, and now we can go into our wizard level. Of course, we will be heading towards Necromancy Wizard, but for now, grab even more cantrips. You definitely want to get Bone Chill as a bit of necromancy goodness. Other than that, whatever you like the look of, and the same with the spells. When we go for our prepared spells, well, I have been learning some scrolls that we'll go over in a little bit, but for now, yeah, I'm going to grab myself Blight, Dethrone, which is just glorious, and then this Circle of Death. This is what lets us just nuke everything around us. Yes, it does damage to us, but that's why I've played into this we just can't die. The damage doesn't matter, so we just get to freely blast everything. And then a bit of Eye Bite if the CC ever comes in handy. Again, Necromancy, so it is free. Over at level 2, we can choose our subclass, and Necromancy is the way. The Grim Harvest is actually quite nice here, because we'll be using level 6 spell slots constantly, so that's quite a good chunk of healing, but level 6 is really what we're after. Ray of Sickness is nice, a bit of Longstrider is nice. Again, just prepare what you feel the need to, but definitely take every necromancy spell as you go along, or at least all the ones that you very specifically want. Then we get to level 3 and continue onwards in our journey. Misty Step obviously is phenomenal, and I like to have invisibility or knock just for the utility, but that's all well and good. Then we get to level 4. Nothing hugely changes here, yet we have to have another bloody cantrip. There is so many of them, and grab just 2 more spells that you like the look of. And then we get our feat. This is good because we want Warcaster. Advantage on concentration saving throws while also having proficiency in Constitution is wonderful, and we will be consecrating a lot always in this build, so you just don't want to lose it. With Warcaster plus Sorcerer, you can go like 10 rounds of being attacked multiple times a turn and just don't drop it. Then at level 5, we get our level 3 spells, which is brilliant. We want Haste and we want Counterspell, and you want to make sure they're both prepared. They are amazing. Then we get to level 6, which is where we will be stopping with Wizard, because it's all we care about is this passive. Additional Animate Dead, and better Animate Dead. And also, we just get Animate Dead. This is the bread and butter of Necromancy Wizard, and there's no need to go past level 6, because it doesn't really get that better. Grab Vampiric Touch if we ever want to use our concentration for even more healing and damage, another way to be really unkillable, and then anything else you like the look of. The utility of curse removal's nice, I suppose, but I will put our Vampiric Touch on. Now, with the rest of our levels, we are going to finish off Cleric to level 5. The main reason we're doing this is we want to get to level 4 for the feat, and then at that point it's either 2 levels in Sorcerer or a 5th level in Cleric, and really you can just sort of choose whichever one of those you like the look of more. That's up to you, but I prefer getting the 5th level in Cleric. So we get to the level 2 Cleric spells, which are actually really nice to have, because we can grab something like Silence, which is really good utility. And we can grab Warding Bond, which we can put on one of our undead to make it nigh unkillable too, and because we can't die, the reflected damage doesn't matter either, so this is nice to choose your own little undead champion with. And it's another reason we want Warcaster with Sorcerer proficiency, so we don't drop concentrating from the reflected damage if they target your minion. Then we get our next feat, and once more a cantrip, and for this feat we just want to buff our intelligence for our offensive wizard base casts with an ability score improvement. Finally then, Cleric level 5, we get our level 3 spells, which is another advantage of sticking with Cleric over getting level 2 into Sorcerer, though that said, the level 3s aren't crazy helpful, so it's not as cut and dry as you might think. Getting Bestow Curse as a Necromancy spell so we can cast it for free gives us a little bit more options, and Spirit Guardians is a great use of your concentration if you're not using it on haste or to bless your own minions, but this is a nice little setup for us. So, here we are all set up and are ready to get moving. And notice how nice it is that people aren't freaking out. We have undead with us. It's really a nice change. God, I love Larian. Anyway, we have our spells here, and yes, we have a lot of them. The main ones are this 6 lot of Necromancy, and let's deal with Dethrone first. You can only cast this once per your rest, but it is a colossal nuke on a priority target. You get this by reading the legendary book found in the vaults in Sorcerer's Sundries, and it's from the Tome of Karthus. It will give you a scroll of Dethrone, which you can then learn on your wizard. And it's really nice to have, and one of the inspirations for finally delving into a little bit of necromancy. It's just so satisfying to blast this off. Then you might be thinking, okay, so we're level 6 wizard, level 5 cleric, we've only got up to level 3 spells. But obviously, we're a wizard. We are a full level 12 caster, so we've got our 6th level spell slot, but because we're a wizard, we can just learn all of the spells up to level 6. I've deliberately not learned ones that aren't relevant to the build, but go ahead and learn any you want. Learning Conjure Elemental and casting that using your level 6 spell slot, because remember, we can cast Necromancy for free, so we can do our level 6 Animate Dead for free, and then giving that Warding Bond is quite nice, but I've kept it clean for you as is. But what you do want to find is a scroll for Blight, a scroll for Circle of Death. Everything else is kind of optional extras, but they are the ones that I would definitely recommend to give you a full range of options. Circle of Death really is your bread and butter here. It is a huge AoE, and everything friend or foe within it will get blasted for the 8d6 when it goes off. Now, obviously, when you're playing with your other 3 party members, be careful with the positioning of this, but my goal here with this build is that we, A, have a really high chance of saving it, despite our actual hit chance being really good, 80% on the enemies, and even if we don't save it, we have 127 health. And we take such minimal damage, for reasons we'll get into, on top of having all of the cleric healing to keep topping us up. So you kind of see where this goes. We can self-haste, get 2 actions a turn, and then just target ourselves to blast in this massive circle, 2 Circle of Deaths a turn, not dropping concentration because we are advantaged with Warcaster and proficient from Sorcerer. It's a really fun little playstyle. And then everything else is just use it as you see fit. It's really nice to bless your summons when you've got them going, or haste yourself if you prefer that. Sanctuary, a key summon or yourself to buy some time. Use it on Spirit Guardians on either damage mode if you want some more damage from your consecrating. And I really say consecrate instead of concentrate way too often, and I apologize for that. Past that, everything else is as it comes up as you need it. It's there for you to use, but not key to the actual playstyle. Use Vampiric Touch as your concentration if you need a bit of healing and damage every turn, on top of how little damage you take. Enemies just can't out-damage this healing while it kills them. Blast people with level 6 Blights for good single-target damage, or inflict wounds if you can't target them with Blight, as we can't target constructs, but we can inflict wounds. gloves, which is good options to have. Use your 1D throne on the biggest threatening enemy, and everything is lovely. So let's talk our actual undead then. Because we are a Necromancer wizard at level 6, we can cast Animate Dead, Flying Ghoul, or Ghoul, which are the ones that you want, and Flying Ghoul is generally just better for the added mobility. They're a little bit squishier than the ghouls, but otherwise they're just so neat to have. We cast it at level 6, which lets us target 4 corpses, so yeah, you might want to get your strengthy barbarians in your party to carry around bodies with you as a supply of raising ingredients. Sounds like I'm making an undead cake. When you need them, or just, you know, raise after a fight that you've successfully won. But otherwise, yeah, target 4 bodies, raise 4 of these flying ghouls, and you are good to go. They are so neat to have. You can move them some serious distance, and then send each one of them to a key target on the battlefield. Because they have a good chance to paralyze enemies they attack, they can really start decimating the enemy's ability to coordinate, as one by one, each one of them paralyzes a target for 4 enemies unable to move, as they then just get crit damage down by the ghouls. They also absorb a lot of damage from the enemies for a couple reasons that we again will get into. Let's talk gear then, as gear plays an important role in what we're achieving. The rings don't really matter. I've just got regeneration to again be even tankier to play into that, and then Exalted Marrow just because it's necromancy a little bit, it's not required. The necklace is the greater health, so we have that health pool to be tanky with from the House of Hope. Everyone knows about this. Very good. For our cloak, it's just the weave, so we've got a little bit of a higher chance to hit all of our various necromancy blasts, and that is that. Same with the gloves, also from the House of Hope, for just more spell attack rolls and save DC. Then for my boots, it's Boots of Persistence from Damon at the Forge of the Ages in the Lower City. They're just good, solid boots to have, and work nice to keep you moving. The Long Strider's good too, so you can reposition a lot, which is necessary because our helmet is the Circle of Bones, because of course it is from Balthazar. You just have to get this unless for some reason you didn't loot him when you eventually killed him. This is mainly for the Undead Ward, to give our 4 Flying Ghoul army, well, resistance to the main melee damage types. This is amazing and effectively doubles their health. And it's so important you keep this on them, otherwise they'll be too squishy, and it's why being able to reposition with the Freed Longstrider, with your Misty Steps, with your Tempestuous Flight, Storm Sorcerer is really useful. It's quite a large range, honestly, and you just want to be vaguely around wherever they're fighting, but not too close, so you keep the battlefield spread out. Then the chest is a big one. It's heavy armor, thanks to the light cleric proficiency, and it's the Armor of Persistence, also from Damon at the Forge of the Ages in Lower City. This gives us permanent Blade Ward, so permanent resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing. Yeah! That is very good. Spells we have counterspell for, and then this absorbs so much melee and bow damage, etc. that comes our way, which on top of our vast amounts of healing that we have access to, is what keeps us just so healthy. Oh, and having 22 AC doesn't hurt, does it? Then, for the shield, it's a very thematically fitting Necromancer shield that also gives us extra spell DC and attack rolls, which is amazing. And then lastly, the big one that really was one of the reasons I wanted to even do this build, and it is the Staff of Cherished Necromancy. Yeah, could not be more fitting, could it not? This thing is beautiful. So, everyone has disadvantage on saving throws against our necromancy spells. That's just bloody awesome. Even if it just said that, that would be worth using. That is insane. It makes all of your necromancy blasts so effective. But also, Life Essence Harvest. When you kill anything with a spell, you absorb their life essence, which then gives you access to this. Consume Life Essence. This lets you, without using the spell slot, cast any necromancy spell. So if I get myself a Blight at 6th level, and I will choose, let's go for him, and boom! Sorry, Mr. Ghoul, but lo and behold, our spell slot is still there. And, oh, what's this? So is Consume Life Essence! Oh, let's just do it again, shall we? Oh, that's really nice! Oh, and it's still there! Let's just do it again! A level 6 spell slot! Boom! Yeah! So you see where this goes? I think it's a bug. I'm not 100% sure. It feels a bit strong that it just stays forever, but as soon as you kill your first hostile enemy for the day, this stays permanently until long rest, meaning that yes, every turn you have your haste on you, and you can now just blast off multiple boom. And it just never ends. It's so glorious. So you get this staff from a certain mystic carrion, the mummy lord who will sell you things and give you a quest to find his missing undead in the Filgrave Mansion in Lower City. You kill him for it and then loot the staff, and it is yours to wield to maximum efficiency. So, with that all said then, all that's left is to kind of go over how to play it. That is very simple. Raise your 4 chosen undead, and then go to where you want to fight, or just have them with you for when a fight breaks out. What you want to do then is use another huge advantage of the Life Cleric Infusion and its cast aid at the highest level you can to give them all an extra 25 health. They now all have nearly 70 health, which coupled with your circlet giving them resistance is an effective 140 health per ghoul. That is how you keep your undead alive, and it makes them so much more useful on top of just how powerful you are yourself. Then we choose what we're going to concentrate on. Either self-haste or bless on you and all of your ghouls, depending on what matters most in the situation, or on the outside something like Vampiric Touch if you need healing, or Spirit Guardians if you just want to pump out more damage yourself, but chiefly bless on everyone or haste on yourself. Past that, send your ghouls to a key target each, enemy casters, enemy ranged, fly them over, paralyze them with the claws, take them out the fight, and then you just carefully position and just blast people every turn using level 6 spell slots. Circle of Death, doesn't matter if you're in it, doesn't matter, you won't take damage, you won't break concentration, you can heal up with your bonus action with your Preserve Life, even if they do enough damage to need you to heal to begin with, dethrone the main targets, blight at level 6 anyone you can, inflict wounds at level 6 anyone that you can, and then use any of your other spells as utility when they come up, learn the spells that you want thanks to the wizard, and generally have a lovely, lovely time of it. It's brutal, it is straightforward, and it is deliciously evilly necromancy without relying on weak undead, as we've made them really not weak, but also you yourself are the main powerhouse here, and that is thanks to this tank cleric infusion with this awesome staff that gives us just unlimited necromancy casts, which means you can safely use all your spell slots on non-necromancy spells, which gives you so many more options for casting in your given fights. It's just brilliant, and I hope you very much agree, and indeed if you do and choose to have a go with this, well, I hope you have fun in doing so. For now then, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.